Gilligan's Island looked like your typical feel-good sitcom. Palm trees, slapstick gags, and a crew of lovable idiots stranded on a beach. But behind the sunny vibes was a storm of secrets, hidden contracts, ego wars, creepy coincidences, and real-life danger that nearly got people killed. So let's pull back the curtain on one of TV's most surprising productions. Let's kick things off with a detail that most people never noticed, but once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard.
In the opening credits of the first season, there's a shot of the harbor with the American flag flying at half-mast. Now, that's not just a random set decoration. The reason it's at half-mast is chilling. The pilot episode was filmed on the very same day President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, November 22, 1963. The nation was in mourning, and that silent flag in the background unintentionally captured a historical moment of grief. It's one of those eerie overlaps between real life and fiction, where a lighthearted comedy holds a sliver of something tragic without even trying. But while that moment was unintentional, the next one was absolutely deliberate and a little petty in the best way possible. You'd think the name SS Minnow was just a quirky pick for a tiny tour boat, but no, there was a hidden jab buried in that name. Creator Sherwood Schwartz actually named the doomed vessel after Newton Minnow, the chairman of the FCC in the early 60s. Why? Because Minnow had famously slammed television, calling it a vast wasteland. Schwartz wasn't having it. Naming the wrecked boat after him was his quiet way of flipping the bird, TV style. So every time Gilligan and the gang stared at that broken ship, it was low-key TV's revenge against the guy who thought it wasn't worth watching. While the show was all about stranded castaways, some secrets stayed buried even off the island. And one of the juiciest, Natalie Schafer, the actress who played the rich and fabulous Miss Lovey Howell, was living a double life when it came to her age.
Anyone who says money can't buy happiness doesn't know where to shop.
On screen, she played the doting wife of millionaire Thurston Howell III. Off screen, she was actually 13 years older than her TV husband, Jim Backus. But nobody, not the producers, not the cast, not even the networks, knew how old she really was. She kept it locked down so tightly that her real age didn't come out until years later after her passing. And Natalie didn't stop there. She didn't just hide the years, she made damn sure the camera wouldn't catch them either.
Dear Thurston, how long do we have to do this pacing thing?
While most actors fight to get more face time, Natalie negotiated to have less. She had a specific clause in her contract that forbade close-up shots. Because she didn't want the camera picking up every wrinkle or sign of age that could break the illusion of her youthful, elegant character. The production team had to shoot her from flattering angles and keep a respectful distance. But here's the wildest part. For someone so careful about her image, what she did next completely defied expectations. You would think that someone so image-conscious who avoided close-ups would steer clear of anything risky. But Natalie, she went full savage when the cameras rolled.
This is Mrs. Thurston Howell III, from Newport, New York, Palm Beach, and, of course, Paris, mon cher. I want to ask you about the new French fashions. I don't know what to wear when we're rescued.
Despite being in her 60s, she insisted on doing her own stunts. That included falling into lagoons, sinking into fake quicksand, and hauling herself around the jungle set like she was decades younger. While younger cast members had stunt doubles on standby, she straight up refused them. She didn't just protect her role, she owned it. It's kind of ironic, right? The one trying hardest to hide her age was also the one toughest enough to outwork half the cast physically. But while Natalie was quietly defying expectations, somebody else on set was playing the long game and securing a win that no one else did. Let's talk about Marianne. Sweet, simple girl next door Marianne, played by Dawn Wells. She was the kind of character you'd never suspect of making boss moves behind the scenes.
Okay, Marianne, it's agreed. We'll pool our ideas and we'll split the $1 million. Oh, and I have a wonderful idea for Mr. Howell's rescue. Oh, so have I. What's yours? What's yours? You go first.
And guess what? She was the only cast member who received syndication royalties. How? Her husband at the time was a savvy TV agent. He helped her sneak in a clause into her contract that guaranteed her a cut of future earnings from reruns. When Gilligan's Island exploded in syndication, Dawn got paid while the rest of the cast got nothing. It was a quiet power move, and in hindsight, a genius one. And speaking of loyalty and standing up for the underdogs, the next story proves that not all heroes wear capes. Sometimes, they just wear a bucket hat. Now, before we get into how Bob Denver went full hero mode for his castmates, if you're loving these behind-the-scenes bombs, do us a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. We've got way more hidden drama, shady deals, and near disasters coming up. Behind that goofy, clumsy Gilligan character was a guy who didn't play when it came to fairness. When the show's theme song was first updated, only the big names, Thurston and Lovey Howe, Ginger and the Skipper, were mentioned. But Russell Johnson, the professor, and Don Wells' Marianne left out completely. Well, Bob Denver wasn't having it. He marched straight to the producers and said if they didn't include Johnson and Wells in the credits, he'd have his own name removed too. That pressure worked. By the second season, all 7 castaways were finally recognized in the theme song. Now that's Gilligan for you, always messing things up on screen, but off screen, he had his co-stars' backs. But while Bob Denver was saving careers, he almost couldn't save himself from a real-life horror right on the set. Yep, a lion.
He gets through there, he's gonna have to find me, right?
In one episode, the crew brought in a real lion for a jungle scene. Supposedly tame, supposedly safe, but the moment Bob Denver walked into the shot, the lion lunged at him, claws out, teeth bared, ready to pounce. A quick-thinking trainer tackled the lion just in time, and Denver walked away shaken but unharmed. Still, it was a brutal reminder that Gilligan's Island, for all of its laughs, had its share of behind-the-scenes danger. But that wasn't the only time fiction blurred into real-life panic, because soon the line between TV and reality got seriously crossed by the fans themselves. Now, here's where things get downright surreal. Some viewers were so invested in the show, they genuinely believed Gilligan and the gang were actually stranded on a deserted island, like, for realsies. The situation got so wild that the US Coast Guard received actual letters from fans begging them to launch a rescue mission. That's how believable the show felt to its audience. Despite the coconut radios and bamboo cars, it was campy, sure, but to some people, it was dead serious. Unfortunately, just as the audience was falling deeper in love with the island fantasy, the network made a move that blindsided everyone. Gilligan's Island was supposed to get a 4th season. Scripts were being prepped, storylines mapped out, the cast and crew were ready to keep the island antics going. But then, boom, CBS canceled the show overnight. Why? To make room for Gunsmoke, which just so happened to be a favorite of the wife of CBS's network's president. So without any final episode and closure, Gilligan and the others were left stuck on that island forever. It was the kind of abrupt ending that left a weird aftertaste. A silly comedy show that made people laugh, sparked conspiracies, almost caused a lion attack, and then vanished without a goodbye. Turns out, the island wasn't the only thing full of traps, so was the set. From fake names to real danger, what looked innocent on the surface was packed with drama underneath.